What's up YouTube, it's your boy Ice here, bringing you guys another Minecraft video. So today we are in a different location. Let me actually get rid of these real quick. There we go. So this is going to be a different kind of video than what I usually bring. I don't usually bring out snapshot farm videos, but today I wanted to bring out a farm video on magma cubes. So magma cubes are fairly hard to get in normal survival just because there's no actual definite way of creating a good farm for them, because the spawning for them is very weird for that matter. But now with the most recent snapshot, they introduced the bastions to where there is a magma cube spawner within the bastion, and some of them, not all of them, but so this farm here, which is the MagmaCubeFarm, uses that. That they just added that in. So basically it's a fairly easy farm to build. There's nothing too difficult about it. So you just kind of find the area that they spawn in. So I gave them this spawn platform, so they drop onto this and then they go towards those guys, because the mechanics for these is they work exactly like slimes. They path toward iron golems. So one thing that I do want to point out is that the smaller ones, so far what I've seen is that they do not go through portals. Oh, they do go through, okay. Because before I was pushing them in before I put these iron golems down, because I just had those ones up there, but they weren't tracking when they got down here, so I added in a second set. This one, but what it does is it gets them heading towards these side portals, so then these ones you don't have to build, realistically, the ones over here. So what you could do is you could actually stop this farm and build just a wall right here. This is just a really simple farm that stops them from pushing out that far. But every 120 something ticks, if they don't see an enemy, they do a turn, and then another 126 ticks later. This is also another issue that we could be having. So all you gotta do is just build this up higher, for that matter. I actually just realized that it's the first time that I've seen that happen, so all you have to do is build this up higher. I did remove the bridge over there, up there, so that way we wouldn't have any spawning on top of the bridge when that happens. So basically how the mob spawners work is mob spawners practically ignore mob cap. There's still a mob cap, but they take priority over mob caps. So the more mobs you have spawning in here, the worse this farm's gonna run. So unfortunately, we don't really have much control over that because the hoglins and stuff and piglins, they all still spawn in the bastions. Really unfortunate that happens, but it's something that's kind of out of our control at the moment. I would assume you could just light it up enough to where they're not going to spawn, but you can't light it up in here because then the magma cubes won't spawn because spawner light levels. So basically the spawning platform size, we're going to go over some of the sizes of this farm. Just get some concrete. We'll get two contrasting colors, so we'll just go with the magenta and a white. I don't know why that's happening. That's never actually happened before, so but okay, so we can just push him off. Like I said, I've never actually seen that happen before. Everything's just going wrong now. I've been running this farm for about 45 minutes now. But there's a 4-block gap on every single side of this farm. So it should be 4 by 4 by 4. That's the gap that they fall down into. If they keep getting stuck on top of this platform right here, then I would just extend this out to being 5 by 5 by 5, because it seems like these guys are really starting to now for some reason. But what you could also do is just get rid of the iron golem up here and just put one down there, so when they spawn in, then you don't have to worry about them jumping over to that at all. So like I said, each side is 4 by 4, is 4 wide. Your spawning platform is 4 across. So it's 4 blocks across, okay, and then this, or in width, okay, and then in length, it's 3, 4, 5, and 6. It's 6 blocks. So you can go ahead and get rid of these. So our spawning platform is 4x6. Now, the reason that it's 4x6 is our magmas, our big magma cubes, as you can see with their hitboxes, they spawn in. Actually, another way that you could redo this, as long as there is a 2-block gap between your spawner and the base, or 3-block gap, you could raise this platform up one, and then they won't jump onto that ledge. They'll be too tall and they'll fall down. So you could just raise this platform up one. They will still make eye contact with the iron golems here. They'll still make contacts with them, and then they can't jump into this window. So that actually just fixed the issue I was having prior. These guys are going to go through the portal. We'll get into it in a moment on how the collection system works on the other side. It's actually really simple. It just uses cacti, so it's nothing too difficult. I don't know why this guy just died. Probably the iron golem, but who knows. Those guys can still get in with the iron golems, but the portal should force them through before they actually do. But as you can see, the hitboxes, they're tracking to them. So yes, the iron golems do hit them prior to them getting into there. What you could do to stop that, in theory, is pushing your iron golems back 2 blocks from the front here, and then putting another set of fence gates in, or iron bars in right there. Fence gates, iron bars, doesn't matter. I don't know what's happening there. But that's another way you could avoid the iron golems killing the smaller ones. The bigger ones, it doesn't happen because they just go right through the portal. So we'll watch this guy. He just goes right through the portal. The little ones will go through sometimes they'll die, but what you could also do to counteract that is just putting hoppers in the floor down here, and that should in theory fix the idea of them dying to the iron golems and you not getting the items for it. So what I did on depth was I made sure that we had at least a 3-block gap between, or three tall nether portal, so that way these guys can go in, because the way that these guys are represented is like this. So they're 4 blocks basically, but they're 3 blocks tall from my understanding. So they're like this, realistically, with their hitboxes. But this is kind of a representation of their hitbox, so you guys can make farms according to that. But this guy from the base of the platform is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 down. So that's 8 tall. So as long as you're building this 8 down, you have a 4 here, okay? So you'll have, this doesn't matter, this can be any block of your choice. This entire thing could be any block of your choice. It doesn't matter. So I put these nether portals in right here. This is not necessary. I just have it here to catch them, the excess, or catch them if they're not going through this portal. So if they spawn over in this area or they fall down in this area and they don't track, then they can eventually track because they look in a 16-block radius. So from our thing, what we need to make sure is that we don't go over 16 blocks. So this would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So I have my iron golem 7 or 8 blocks away from the spawning. From the spawner, this can be doubled if you would like. It's a 16-block radius. You have 16 blocks basically to mess with. So this is the nether side. I use iron bars here. You can also put iron bars there. I believe they'll still path. We can double check that. Or you could even put iron bars here, which will stop the iron golems from swinging. But I gotta make sure, we gotta wait for some to spawn to make sure that they can still track before we do that. They should be able to. They see the iron golem there, they jump down. They see the iron golem there, and they just go through. Yes, so that guy saw him. Okay, that guy saw him, but we gotta put this here to make sure that he can see him. Okay, so now we just wait again until another one spawns. This guy's over there. It's really slow because of the mob cap, and plus I'm in creative mode as well. So if I were to go into survival here, it should spawn a little bit faster maybe, because it's registering an entity here rather than a non-killable entity. Yeah, so they did spawn a little bit faster there. So yes, I will die in here. But he does still path through. which is really good for us, and they still pass through. So you can have the iron bars like this on the top, and they'll still pass through. On the bottom they have to be the same because they're on this bottom level rather than on the second level of cages. So you can see the level difference. I'm looking at the center block here. I'm looking at the top block there. That still allows them to track. So now that that guy's gone through, we'll go through and check out the killing mechanism for these guys. So this is really easy. It uses cactus. Now that's an issue that you could fix. Instead of using trapdoors there, you could use slabs instead. But I put trapdoors there so that way I could turn this into an AFK farm if I wanted to by removing the cactus and making the water run down to me down here. But anyways, what ended up happening is they spawn in, they land on top of the cactuses, and they take damage and die. This little pooling in the center will stop eventually. They'll eventually push out to the sides and die to the cactus, so it's not something I'm worried about. The smaller ones, they die within one tick of hitting the cactus, so realistically you'll have a little straggler like this every now and again, but he dies relatively right away. So I haven't been running this farm for too long. It's only been consistently running for, like, me going through, I've only been through the portal maybe 4 or 5 times, and I've gotten 11 creams. I've got 11 there and 6 there, so I have 17 total. So I would probably say maybe, like, with the speeds of how this farm works, you'd have to have probably, like, you'd probably get about 2 stacks an hour maybe. Maybe a little bit more depending on how you handle the mob cap in the nether, or how well you handle the mob cap. I haven't actually ran this for the hour yet. I just kind of built this up so that way you guys could see how it works, or see how a farm like this would work. So like I said, basically what I did down here, we can go, it's the width of a regular portal. It goes out 3 blocks here, so from your portal you'll have 1, 2, 3. Okay, and it's just the width of your nether portal. This is on both sides. Down here I just basically added in enough for the cactus to spawn, and then the water as well. I put the main source block back there, but the water pushes them back into these, which then this entire floor is, even underneath the sand, is all hoppers that go down there. So in that way they all fill into the chests. So there's a couple chests down there, as you guys saw. But this is it. This is really the collection system. It's super easy to build. There's not a whole lot to it. This is a really easy version of the farm. It's not extremely resource heavy, so it's an easier farm to build for those of you that don't have a lot of resources and want to make a magma cream farm for your potion brewing needs. Like I said, this is in the new Snapshot 20 Whiskey 16 Alpha. So this is the only snapshot right so far that has this spawner in it, and I'm not sure if it will stay, but it should. So like I said, this has been the Magma Cream or Magma Cube farm. Like I said, about 120 magma creams an hour, depending on how well you utilize the mob cap and how well you take care of the mob caps in the nether and in the overworld. The overworld's not too dependent, just because your spawner's actually in the nether this time. To be able to make this run AFK, you'll have to build in a chunk loader in the nether, which is relatively easy. There's not much to it, so you have to build a chunk loader in the nether to load in your overworld chunks and keep them loaded. But it just puts a lot of items in the overworld for you that you'd have to pick up using the chunk loader. But if you were to build the chunk loader, I would recommend putting it up here somewhere, so then that way your chunk loader is out of the way of the farm, it's out of harm's way, you're out of harm's way. This will go through the same portal as all these down here, which keeps your portal over there loaded. So if we were to get some flint, steel like that, then you'd just build your chunk loader in right here. So you just get some ice. I could run through a little bit real quick on how to do a chunk loader. This is just using a dropper. It's not very hard. So you just put a dropper there, get some water, glass maybe as well. And put your water in right here. Oh, Oh wait, you can't in the nether. Oops. Okay, so yeah, just the ice will work. My bad. My apologies. But yeah, the ice will work. The ice will, once the dropper shoots them out, they'll shoot the items in. And you just attach this to basically like a redstone clock that fires off every 12-ish seconds. I usually go with 12 seconds because they unload within 14. So basically, you just do oh dear. Just do a little redstone clock here. I mean, it had to be a lot bigger to obviously make 12 seconds. You can do this any way that you want, but this is just how I've done it in the past. So, and it works really, really well for me. So, this is, like I said, just a simple little redstone clock, and then that would fire items, send them through the portal as your AFK, wherever you want to build your AFK box at. I'd probably recommend here, but making sure you're not visible to that so they're not pathing to you instead. So I'd probably build something like this, but that is how that works. So like I said, this has been the MagmaCubeFarm to get magma creams for potion brewing. I want to thank you all again for watching, and stay tuned for the next snapshot farm video. So remember to like, comment, and subscribe for more content.